YouTube, it's Decklists TCG here, and welcome back to our TCG video on my channel. On this channel you get tons of Pokemon TCG content, so if you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button. We are slowly but steadily reaching 90,000 subscribers, so I couldn't be any more excited about that. So I want to thank every single person out there to begin with. And also in this video we're going to be talking about the Lille Regionals results. We're going to be talking about the top 16, maybe top 32 deck list. We're also going to be checking out some unique rogue decks that did well as checking out the conversion rates and the meta share. So if you guys are excited, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. It is super effective and always helps out the channel tremendously. So yeah, I always appreciate it. With that being said, let's dive into the meta analysis. There were 1,311 players that made their way to Lille Regionals in the Master Division. I also was one of them, and yeah, you know how that story ended, so I'm not gonna be giving any spoilers, but yeah, definitely check out the vlog. You'll see, it's gonna be fantastic. With that being said, Raging Bolt was still the #1 played deck. I have a love-hate relationship with Raging Bolt. In theory, it seems like the best deck out there, but it is just so linear that people can just, with Radiance Arts, with like Dusknoir Iono plays left and right. I don't feel comfortable playing Raging Bolt myself, but it was still the most popular deck with 15% meta share. On top of that, Lugia, second most played deck with a 10% meta share, followed up by Charizard, the exact same number by the way, so they're tied second. Then we have Origin Form Palkia, which actually gets a great resurgence because Dusknoir Palkia has been doing really well, definitely with a Greninja EX line thrown in there as the fighting type Pokemon of choice there, so very strong deck indeed. Regidrago VSTAR also around with 8%, and then Dragapult to finish it all off. What else was played during day one? A little bit of Terrapicus, 7%, so people, the hype died down a little bit after Louisville. Then there's 4% Gardevoir believers out there, then 4% unclassified unknown decks, like a little bit of everything. You could see like some Gouging Fires in there as well, more on that later. Lost Box, 3%, even though it got second place at Louisville, now actually we see 3%, it is better than it was before, but with the high amount of Dusknoir, the high amount of Kyurem and all of that, I think Lost Box is still not great position, as we will see that Regidrago VSTAR was able to win the entire event. Miraidon 3%, and then Iron Thorns 3% as well. Okay, let's see how that actually went with the conversion rate all the way into day 2. In day 2, we see the undisputed greatest performer here, Lugia VSTAR, as the #1 played deck in day 2. I myself played Lugia as well, so yeah, that's super cool because my list is a little bit different than the other list. Checking that out later. We have Regidrago VSTAR being the second most popular deck in day 2. Charizard hang in there with 9%. Snorlax Block did incredible. We did see the return of Sander Wojcik, one of the most known control players in the game, grabbing towards a unique Snorlax build. We're going to be checking that out later. And then Gardevoir also had a pretty okay conversion rate, but the thing that is really crazy, Raging Flop actually didn't do too well. So from 15% all the way to 8%. So not a lot of successful Raging Bolt. Is that because not a lot of how do we say it? Skillful players grab towards the Raging Bolt deck? Like all the best players in the world that I know of, like think about the Tor, think about anything, actually don't gravitate towards Raging Bolt that often. There are still very skillful players playing Raging Bolt, but mostly we see Raging Bolt have like a lot of new players because it's a very easy to play deck, and it is not greatly positioned in the meta, it seems, because it got pushed out quite ridiculously. Even though like it has a great time against the Regidrago, to be honest, it has a great time against Charizard, it is was still not enough to just convert well enough. With that being said, let's take a look at the top 16 deck list from Lille Regionals. We see James Cox actually getting the dub there. So from Australia, but I think he actually lives in the Netherlands. So but yeah, still from Australia. We have here Regidrago VSTAR. Very similar list. I think John Ang also plays the same 60. A lot of people playing that 60, so it has been a well-established archetype in the game. We have, of course, the emphasis on the Dragapult EX with 2 copies in there. So it does seem like still the better way to be playing Dragapult EX is just to be playing Regidrago VSTAR. There's a 1-1 line of Noctowl in there with the Jewel Seeker. Very great because if you have an Ogerpon in play, the Noctowl can cherry pick anything quite ridiculously. There is Giratina for the Lost Impact for 280, and then Kyurem 110 on 3 targets is very great. Definitely when you're able to do it twice with stuff like Legacy Star to regain copies like Energy Switch. Yeah, it's a solid archetype. What can we say? The Temple of Sinnoh, a very annoying card to deal, and actually is having multiple uses now because it also works against Terrapagus, not only Lugia. So first place was James Cox. Then Clement Courbois, I actually played against him twice, once during day 2 and then once in top 8. So a very, very skillful player, even though they don't have like crazy results quite yet. They played incredibly well with Dragapult EX. They left the Dusknoirs at home and went for the consistency with Pidgeot. Also, the Radiant Alakazam Hawlucha plays are incredible. There's 3 copies of the Counter Catcher in here. 3! I know, kind of funky. Sparkling Crystal in combination with the Arven package is just so beautiful. Getting a turn 2 Dragapult attack off has never been easier. There's also a Pokemon League headquarters in this list to deal with stuff like Terrapagus and Raging Bolt. So yeah, what's there not to love? It's a consistent Dragapult list that does the job. Alright, moving forward, we have Roan Nielsen from Denmark with Snorlax Block. This Snorlax Block is kind of funky, as it does come packed with 1 copy of Diancie. Diancie actually has here, this attack does 40 damage for each special energy attached to all of your opponent's Pokemon. So it's a very funky tech, as you can then hit for weakness against stuff like an Iron Hands if that actually comes into fruition with Lugia. But I don't know how to feel about this Diancie thrown in there. I don't know against which archetype. Maybe it was up against a random Terrapagus, I would say. I don't know. I don't think you want to be taking prize cards, but I am not a control player. So we have Cornerstone to wall off against archetypes like Charizard, triple Mimikyu, win yourself. The Iron Thorns matchup instantly, but also can help a ton against the Raging Bolt matchup. The Disruptive Supporters are still there. 3 Misfortune Sisters, a little bit on the higher end than we used to see. 4 copies of Penny, also on the higher end than we used to see. But the cool thing is, like, because you're playing 4 copies of Penny, you can afford to actually throw in that funky tech Diancie. There's Mist Energy, which helps yourself out incredibly against the Regidrago VSTAR deck if you put a Mist Energy onto something like a Mimikyu, which is super nice. We see Accompanying Flute. The Prime Catcher is something we don't see that often. Prime Catcher is not the ace-pack card we see or actually associate with Snorlax Block. It is an additional gusting card, so typically you would see like Hero's Cape or something in the Snorlax Block, or like other lists come packed with the secret box. This actually is playing Prime Catcher instead, and it paid off, and they were able to go for that deep finish here. That was actually 3rd place. Alberto Conti was actually playing Giratina, or no, not really. It was Regidrago Giratina in disguise, so very funkily mentioned over there on Twitter because he's a true fan of Giratina VSTAR. The card is still in his 60, so I guess we're counting it, right? So Regidrago VSTAR, no Noctowls in here, no Hoot Hoot Noctowl shenanigans, just went for also a Jamming Tower in here. Jamming Tower could do miracles against those decks heavily relying on those tool cards. I could give an example like Miraidon, for example, is one of those decks that really wants to rely on like Forest Sealstone, Rescue Board, all that stuff. Another cool thing is with Jamming Tower, you can help your Gardevoir matchup out a little bit. So yeah, stopping down Forest Sealstone, stopping also against the Dragapult EX decks. The Sparkling Crystal seems pretty nice. There is a Penny in here. That helps yourself the Snorlax Block matchup, I would say. So you have Penny, there is Cologne, there is a way to get back the Penny. So I think that should be enough, definitely with Boss on the Rotom, to win yourself the Snorlax Block matchup. So cool 60 for sure. Moving forward, we have Kawain Kababe from Australia. And this person was from Australia. I actually lost against him in my day 1 run. So we see here Regidrago VSTAR was literally everywhere. It was Regidrago VSTAR Paradise over at the Lille Regionals. There is no Penny in here, just a switch. And there's also the 1-1 line of Noctowl in there. I wonder if is this same 60? Yeah, it's the same 60 that we saw before that James Cox actually piloted, as well as all the other players that you see on the screen right here. So yeah, unknown 60. Then it's me. Let's go. I have a 6th place Lugia. Here we go. This is my Lugia 60, and I actually have not changed my list ever since July 27th. and we are almost August, September, almost 3 months away with 2 additional sets included, and I still have not changed my 60 whatsoever. This is my World 60. I've put a lot of time and effort into my World 60 and it has been paying off quite ridiculously. First of all, I want to say, like, I got 21st at Worlds, I also got top 128 at Dortmund, and now this top 8 finish is a welcome addition because the top 125 race is still on. I'm trying to get to the World Championships, and with all the support and all the testing, it has been paying off quite ridiculously. So people want to ask me, why do you go for the most questions I actually get with this list, why such a thick Cinccino line? The reason why I like the Cinccino line is because you draw into them and you can save your other ball engine cards for things that are more important. More in particularly, with the Great Balls and all that, you want to be finding your Archeops, and then with Ultra Ball, with Lumineon Carmine or Lumineon Research, you can get rid of them. Why not Squawkabilly? The reason why I don't like Squawkabilly is that I prefer using Lumineon because I have used Aqua Return so much that you can get the 2 prize liability off your field. And I think that is the way I love playing Lugia, is that I attack with the Lumineon, the Lugia is then my only 2 prizer, and then all the rest become 1 prizers, and I finish off with Blood Moon. The ways I have won with Lugia where I used Blood Moon balls are countless. I cannot even count how many times I won because of Blood Moon balls, which is crazy. Also Iron Hands, because you have all your ball engines, there's 12 of them in there, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Capturing Aroma, and 4 Great Ball. I am not a big fan of Masagosa. Most of the time, 50% of the time, for me 100% of the time, it is always tails, meaning you cannot use Masagosa. You get the argument where you can use Masagosa and then use the Tempest Dive to get rid of it. Yeah, that is true, but I am a bigger fan of Jamming Tower. Definitely in this format, I expect a lot of Bravery Charms in the Raging Bolt decks. It is very good against any deck that wants to set up with the means of Forest Sealstone. And because of Jamming Tower, my Miraidon matchup is actually way better than you might imagine. So yeah, I think this is still the perfect 60. I'd be surprised if I would change any card, but I'm a big fan of the big Cinccino line because, there's a lot of archetypes out there that can get rid of, like, your one Cinccino. Definitely with Dusknoir shenanigans, they pop and poof, your biggest damage output with Special Roll is gone. You might think, oh, people add in weirder, people could add in Raikou V, but I just love the simplicity of my attacking choices with Lugia, and the deck just, if it sets up, it is the best deck in the format. So why don't you just put all your time and effort into consistency so you don't break often? And that's what we did with this 60. And the cool thing with this is that Great Ball, also if you get Iono to 1 or 2, the Great Ball is very great. Let's imagine you have a Lumineon in your hand, the opponent Ionos you, it's on the bottom of the deck, then it goes to you and you have one little Great Ball. The cool thing you could do is you could Primal Turbo some energies from your deck to reshuffle and tin the deck as well, play Great Ball, and hopefully you find Lumineon, and then the same story. Lumineon boss. That's how I win the games, and that's why I love Great Ball in here, because I just want to slap down Jamming Tower ASAP, and it also helped out a ton against, I would say, the funky Snorlax Block deck that I faced with like 3 Temples. The double copies of the Jamming Tower really helping out there as well. And the thing I love as well, with a high amount of ball engine cards, you could just go Lumineon, find that, and if you have like 2 Archeops because of Great Ball, Capturing Aroma, Ultra Ball, you can Carmine on your very first turn, so the opponent cannot Iono that away, and your mission is done. The Archeops are in the discard pile. So also a cool thing with this 60 is that there is no funky other attackers, so you just have one game plan, and that's what you go for. Also the Iron Hands are really strong. The MVP here. You might think, I was also thinking about the Roseanne's backup, but I was just say like, if my Iron Hands is priced, I'm just gonna find other ways to win against the opponent. So yeah, my Lugia 60. So I would say check it out, because like nobody seems to be grabbing towards this 60, but yeah, I have proven that it is actually a solid deck. Let's go. Moving forward, 7th place Eaten Wild with another Lugia build, very similar. Also, Eaten Wild has been doing really well with Lugia as well. So let's see here. We have a Wildspring Ogerpon. Love that inclusion, but I don't like to start with it in specific matchups, although you could cheese out games with the Sup attack as well. There's a 1-2 line of Cinccino. You might think, what a strange line is that? And that's because Thornton can transform into Minccino, and then you can find Cinccino a little bit easier because there's 2 copies of that in there. So technically, you could use 2 Cinccinos, because You have a 1/1 Chinchino, you attack with Chinchino, it gets knocked out, then you Torton into Minchino, evolve again into Chinchino, and poof, off you go. So also the Torton helps out to remove a 2-pricer, so I do love, I would have to test Torton on a little bit. Weirder also in this list, no Raikou in the 60. Moving forward, we have Anthony Argante from France. The only Raging Bolt did incredibly well with 4 copies of Bravery Charm. Yeah, that's the thing that people predicted here, and they were right. Bravery Charm with Raging Bolt was expected, and that's why we see so much Jamming Tower in all these 60s. Yeah, it's a streamlined list with no Briar. Yeah, Briar is is overrated in Raging Bolt, it seems. We have Nina, Asymmetrical, actually got 9th place with the Regidrago. We did see that mirror match happening on stream against James Cox, the eventual winner of the event. Also with a 1/1 line of Noctowl, and there's a split line between Jamming Tower and Temple of Sinnoh. Also 3 copies of Iono, a little bit on the higher end, I would say. Like, I think James Cox only plays 2. Yeah, that's what I figured out. More Ionos in this 60. We have David Valerian, and actually I played against this person as well. They were actually playing very well with Banette. Banette is a scary archetype if you don't know how to deal with it. As soon as you get item locked, yeah, it's over. You can no longer play item cards. So that means no Ultra Balls and other matchups, no rare candies, no trekking shoes, no Buddy Buddy Puffs, no Prime Cash. Every item shut down. The archetype has been popularized quite a bit because I actually saw 2 Banettes during my run, and yeah, Banette is just strong. I need to test this out on the channel. I have not played a lot of item lock myself, but my teammates play item lock all the time, so I knew exactly what to do against the 60, but it's very strong. You can do very funky plays where you can have double Monkey Dorian to play while you use Everlasting Darkness, and that could really trap opponents while you move damage counters around with Radiant Alakazam and Monkey Dory, meaning that, yeah, you can trap opponents indefinitely, definitely with Boss's Orders. Also, the Puppet Offering Banette can get yourself back Boss's Orders. There is Turo to get rid of some liabilities, and the Gravity Gemstone is the MVP in the Banette list. Andres Kubal, a world champion back in the day, playing Lugia, 11th place here. So people don't seem to be agreeing upon the perfect 60, so we see a little bit of everything. Again, no Raikou. Raikou seems to be only Rahul's little thing. So we see a 1/1 line of Chinchino. I don't like the 1/1 line of Chinchino. I'm a big Rats fan. You see how that goes. Weirder in there, Squawkabilly, and the Wellspring. Other than that, like the same supporter lineups. 4 copies of Boss's Orders. Let's see what else do we see here. Sander Wojciech, as mentioned, returning to the game, the Control Master. If we take a look at his Limitless page, let's just give some an homage to Sander. Look at that, all these Control-Age decks. You gotta love it. But now he has established back a fantastic top 16 result with Snorlax Block. What is different about this list? No Rotom V, no liabilities. That's pretty much what the deck is all about. You have very funky cards like, for example, the Boxed Order, which allows you to get... What does it do actually? You get 2 cards from your deck? Search deck for 2 item cards. Okay. You get 2 item cards and you can put them in the hand. And then your turn ends, forcing the opponent to Iono. And if they cannot Iono, you have pretty much like a bunch of Pokegears or Trekking Shoes. You just go Turbo or Accompanying Flute. All that stuff could happen with Boxed Order. Very, very interesting for sure. I also came across an even more funky Snorlax Block deck that played Jubilee Village and reshuffled his hand time and time again when they end the turn. So Snorlax Block, people are innovating on this 60 because, as mentioned, if you cannot get out of the active position, you lose the game. You can discard items through the means of Eerie. You have Misfortune Sisters to discard cards from the opponent's top deck. So there's a lot of disruptive stuff going on. Here we do see the Hero's Cape, even the Lucky Helmet. If you get attacked, you actually draw a card, right? No. Whenever the Pokemon is let's see here. Whenever the Pokemon this card is attached to is attacked by the active Pokemon, draw 2 cards. So yeah, you draw cards. That's the thing. You get attacked, you draw cards, you penny, you keep drawing cards. So instead of relying on the Rotom with the Insta Charge, which is a liability, which will lose you a ton of games because of like you balls Rotom, knock that out, that's already 2 prizes, then you only need to go through 4 Snorlax instead of 6. Here, technically, you can go through 6 Snorlax because of Night Stretcher. We have Grusha, you don't always see that as well. If none of your Pokemon have energies attached, draw cards until you have 7 cards in hand, and that happens most of the time. So a very cool supporter. There's the Choi. Each player reveals their hand and then you draw 3 cards. This actually gives yourself some information So you can Choi and then use Erika's Invitation afterwards, or you can just use Choi and then say like, oh, the opponent has a very crazy setup, or actually doesn't have any Pokemon in hand. Let's go for the accompanying flute. It'll be more successful. Stuff like that. Revealing the opponent's hand is very, very strong. Indeed. So, yeah, Snorlax Block. Congratulations, Sander. Nice to see you're back. Javier Tango Joffre from Spain, playing Palkia Boom. Palkia Dustoir with the 101 line of Greninja. Similar to Stefan Ivanov's 60 that they were playing in Dortmund. We have the Turbo list with Pokestop, Squawkabilly, Trekking Shoes, Radiant Greninja, all that stuff. So we have seen this archetype time and time again. I made a couple of videos about this 60, not exact 60, but this archetype because it's strong. You blow up Dusknoir, you blow up Dusknoir again, you power up Radiant Greninja through the means of Star Portal, you use Moonlight Shuriken, and boom, the opponent no longer has any cards, actually no Pokemon in play. So that's why Charizard did incredibly bad over at the Lille Regionals. Luke Kurtman, the hero from the UK, playing unique rogue decks. Gouging Fire, we see here even the Moltres from Pokemon Go having that additional 10 more damage with your Pokemon could be really useful, I would say, in specific scenarios. The Gouging Fire also comes back with an Entei, so 4 Sealstone combos can happen. Secret Box can instantly find yourself Magma Basin, Sada on top of an E-Switch, or whatever you still are missing on top of a Bravery Charm or 4 Sealstone. So Secret Box, very strong in the combination with this 60. We have Fluttermane helping out. And Monkey Dory is in here as well to just get yourself over the edge. The Kieran in combination with Monkey Dory can allow Gouging Fire to hit some ridiculous numbers. And that actually in combination with, what was it again? Kieran, Monkey Dory, and Moltres allows Gouging Fire to slap for 330. The magical number for Charizard. Funky, I know. Delphox also can surprisingly, knock out weak HP Pokemon, as the opponent might not be playing Manaphy against this 60. So nice. We also need to test this out on the channel, for sure. Daniel Magda with another Regidrago. So Regidrago doing incredible stuff here. This actually is playing a Haxorus, so no Jamming Tower. There is one copy of Temple, a copy of Hisuian Gudra, and Haxorus. So a lot of anti-special energy hate. The reason for that is Terrapagus and Lugia VSTAR. So coming back against those popular archetypes. Then we have another Lugia, Nicholas Forcinetti. Yeah, with Lugia here. And the Great Tusk is in there. Let's go. This is a very funky situation. Let's just talk about Great Tusk. Once at the end of your turn, if this Pokemon is in the active spot, you must discard the top 5 cards of your deck. I wonder if they ever put it in the active position and discarded some Archeops with it on the very first turn. I would imagine. It's very risky. I wouldn't recommend it. This attacks, actually you can slap 260 and go through any effects on your opponent's active Pokemon. So you go through any effects, whatever you see, whatever it's a Mimikyu or whatever, the Great Tusk is there. There's also a Klefki in here. I wonder why they chose the Great Tusk. It has a lot of HP, 250. It's not getting one-shotted by stuff like Terrapagus. And it hits Terrapagus for weakness, even though you already one-shot it regardless. I don't know. This is a mystery card for me. 1-1 line of Chichino, Squawkabilly, Raikou in here as well. So Raikou sometimes seeing an appearance in the Lugia 60. And that was the top 16. So we see Lugia and Regidrago VSTAR, the undisputed winners. Snorlax Block also did incredibly well. Are there any unique archetypes we need to take a look at? Let's give a little bit of homage to Nikki Paradis from Belgium as well with Roaring Moon. I was able to win the second to last round to secure my spot into top 8. A unique 60 with Emergency Jelly to help out with Dusknoir poppings, and there's also an Enhanced Hammer happening. So yeah, interesting stuff. Like imagine like an opponent uses like a Dusknoir Bop onto a Squawkabilly or maybe a Patcherant. You can just put the Emergency Jelly and heal that off, which is very insane. I know, it's funky. What else can we see as an Enhanced Hammer to just get rid of Legacy Energies or against Terrapagus as well? So yeah, Pokemon catchers. Roaring Moon did actually pretty well at Worlds. We see Matthew Houtput, another person for Belgium, playing Gardevoir. This is actually the best performing Gardevoir list, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Let's see what they come back in. They come back with the Secret Box over something like Unfair Stamp or the Hyper Aroma, playing 2 copies of the TM Evo. to actually find TM Evo a little bit more quicker, you can actually use Arven for Secret Box, and then Secret Box gets the rest of the stuff out of the squad. So I think Secret Box is the way to go with Guardy, because you need to be consistent, and most of the time, I think going second is not bad if you're up against a non-Dust Noir variant. Manaphy also in the list, so they were expecting some bench sniping damage. Any unique decks, a little bit of Iron Thorns. Let's check out Stefan Kent's Iron Thorns list. Let's see here. Law City, 2 copies, a Town Store in there as well. You don't see that very often. 1 Enhanced Hammer on top of the 4 Crushing Hammers, and then Prime Catch. Yeah, same stuff we've seen before from Iron Thorns. Any other unique decks that we want to take a look at? Probably not. This seems fine. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video of the Lille Regionals. If you enjoyed it, let me know by rocking the hell out of the like button. Were these numbers you expected? And what's gonna happen in 2 weeks time when we actually go to Gdansk Regionals? That's actually in about 10 days. So I'm very excited to be playing another regional. So it's gonna be back to back. Yeah, only a 1 week break for me, and then we actually go all the way to Poland to play another regionals. And I wonder what this is gonna do to the meta shakeup. Hopefully, guys will be sticking around for the Gdansk vlog as well. And I'll be making a video probably about like Gouging Fire. I need to be playing Gouging Fire on the TCG ranked ladder, because I always love playing the most unique decks from the tournament that recently happened. Okay, subscribe for more content. As mentioned, we are super close to reaching 90,000 subscribers, and imagine if we could get 100k by the end of the year. That would be a dream come true. Have yourself a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.